Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I have another watch I'd like to review. This is a watch I picked up from CW Watch Shop. This is a 1967 Omega Speedmaster 145012. This reference was made from 1967 to 1968. Model before it was the 105012, which was the watch worn on the moon by Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong. This model here was worn by Michael Collins. Also, it was on the moon in later missions. But this is the very last Omega Speedmaster Professional with the 321 movement. And I think that's what makes it so special. I did review from CW Watch Shop not long ago as well a 105012, which had the CB case, which was the same case that old Buzz and Neil wore on their space missions. And that one was a little bit different, where the CB case had like a little line that ran through it here at the top. So a little different there. I love the Speedmaster. I've had many Speedmasters. I've owned older ones, 68, 67 before, just like this model. Never had a CB case, but I was able to review that one. But just very cool. So much history with these timepieces. I really think it deserves much more recognition than it gets. I think in the Omega catalog, this is probably the best Omega made, the most iconic Omega made. So it's a 42 millimeter case. I'm not sure of the actual dimensions from tip to tip. I didn't bring my my caliper, but we're not really checking. I think it's like a 47, 48, and then the thickness is around 14 millimeters. But this is just mainly about, the history, and we're going to talk about the movement. So the movement in this one is, of course, the 321, and it's a 17 joule, 18,000 vibrations per hour movement. It's got seconds, minutes, and hours. And then this one here is the step dial. So you see how it kind of steps down there. So later Speedies, 145022, they went away from that. Where the watch movement or the watch dial is just pretty much flush with the outer chapter ring there. So this is actually stepped. See how it's got that step to it? So I really like that. And this also has the dot over 90, which is special as well. This one also has a later 1450 bracelet on it, which is sought after. People love the 1450. It wears so nice. But going back to the 321 movement, so Patek Philippe, AP, Vacheron, they all used the Lemania 2310, which is the same movement. Omega started using the Lemania 2310, named it the 321 in early, I believe, 1946, and used it up until 1968. So this is a column wheel chronograph, and then after this they went to the cam, which is the 861, which I think is easier to produce, less moving parts, all that, but and I think it has a higher beat rate too, a slightly higher beat rate. I think they go up to 19,000 something vibrations per hour. But my opinion, the 321 is the best. It's the one to have. This does have the dot over 90 bezel, all original. The only thing not original to this timepiece here is the hands have been replaced. The hour and minute hand and that main chronograph second hand has been replaced. And then the crown's been replaced within a service, and then also the case back has been replaced. Other than that, everything is all original. Really good condition. Let's get it running so you guys can kind of see it running there. And what's funny is it still has the loom still works. It still has some loom. Let's check that. Now, of course, the hour and minute hand and that running seconds hand have been replaced. But the dial, of course, is original, but the loom still works. So let's kill the lights and I'll show you. Let's see here. There it is. So you can see the dial still has some luminescence. I've got some light coming in from an outside source here, but you can kind of see where the loom's still working. And then, of course, the hands are bright. But I thought that was cool. So a watch this old, the loom still works. I've seen that with Seikos, but not so much with Omega. And my Rolex Submariner that I have from 1984, it's just completely dead. So I thought that was real cool that this still has some lume. It's got some real nice patina too. See that? Now that second hand moving across there, you got to remember it's, you know, what is it, 18,000 vibrations per hour, so it's going to be pretty jerky. You can see it moving there, but that's, you know, that is the way these movements are. It's how they ran. And what's cool about lower beat rate movements is a lot less wear and friction and everything. So these will actually last a lot longer. Shoot, I had a 1968 ST, which was it had the 321 dial, and it had the newer movement that was the first of the newer movements. I had it years ago. It was an 861 movement in it. It was a transitional model, October of 68, I believe. That thing was never serviced, and I got it from a gentleman, local guy here, and it was still running and keeping decent time. So, you know, these lower beat rate movements, they are pretty robust, and they're manual wind, and they really last. So that's another cool thing about the Omega Speedmaster. The 321 and the 861, even the 1861, those are really thin movements, you know, in comparing to like a 7750, you know, the Daytona, El Primero movement. All those chronograph movements are a lot thicker, which made the watch cases even thicker. So it's cool that, you know, the Speedmaster is a 42 mil. It is kind of a bigger watch, but the thickness isn't all too bad. I mean, on my 7.5-inch wrist, it wears nicely, and you see how well that wears. I love how the lugs just kind of drape over my wrist there. This 1450 bracelet is just amazing. It's like a presidential, you know, almost Jubilee style bracelet, and it's so comfortable, and it has solid in links. I think it's a much better fit on this timepiece. It's probably the best Omega Speedmaster bracelet made. I mean, I don't think even the older 1039s, and I can't remember all the references, 1171, I think this is probably the best wearing, most comfortable. And these things fetch a couple thousand by themselves. So these are pretty nice. And this one's in decent condition. Not a whole lot of, I mean, I think they come with all that stretch, so they're very comfortable. But just really nice. And I don't know the reference it came on. Maybe these came on, you know, some 80s, maybe the 145022 models, I think is what they came on originally. But this watch would have had a 1039, I believe, which is a good bracelet, but I think this one is much better. So there you have it, guys. I just wanted to show you the 1967 Speedy here in my possession. I love it. I think it's a great timepiece. It's iconic. It's classic. You know, this is a real moon watch. And in fact, they started, I think it was 2019 or 2018, they started reproducing the 321 movement again. So, and then they came out with the Ed White. So I think that's real cool. I mean, the newest Speedmaster having the newer, you know, coaxial movement in it, that's just a far departure from the original. I think the last great Speedy that was closer to the originals is the 3570.50. That's probably, you know, the last one you're going to be able to get. So if you guys want Omega Speedmasters and you don't want to pony up for the original 321, you could still get the 3570s, which had the 1861 in there. You can still get them for, you know, 4,000 around there. So I think that's a great buy, and you still get a lot of original Speedmaster DNA. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.